Hi Smriti, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, sir. What about you?
I'm good too. Thank you for asking. So, can you tell
Yeah.
us something about yourself?
Okay. So myself, Smriti Aswal. I'm from UP. So currently I'm in Bangalore and working as a QA intern. Yes, so from last 11 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And my roles and responsibility in the company is like I'm doing real work as well. So, my day started with the checking the emails. Then, if the cycle is for the regression testing, I'm doing the regression testing. And if there is any defect, then I will raise that one. If there is cycle of scripting, then I will script the test cases. According to that, I will do the thing. And there are also weekly technical analysis for my flows. So I'm doing the same that also.
Okay, okay. So, when you say scripting, so what does that mean? You write automation scripts?
Yeah, I do, but there is not pure automation. I just that is backend the Java is working, but I just make an automation scenario by using the XPaths and automate it too. Means whatever the data I'm creating, then validating in the database. That's all. So that every weekend when the executions happen, so if there is any issue, then automatically that will be detected, so that will be useful.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. Sounds good. So, how many team members are there in your team, in your QA team?
Uh, as of now, there's total 17 people.
17 people
Yeah,
in QA team itself.
yeah.
Okay, so that seems to be a big project that you are a part of.
Yes, it is. Actually, I'm working on SCM, supply chain management. So there is all time maintenance work. So there's huge team.
Okay, great. So, now consider a scenario that on Friday, you
Okay.
would be having various environments, right? Dev
Yes.
environment, test environment, the
Yes.
staging environment. Okay.
Yes.
Now, uh, you were testing on staging environment on Friday. Okay. Now
Okay.
on Monday, your login is not working. You're not able to log into the staging environment. Then what will you do in this scenario?
Mm. So what does it mean by staging environment?
Okay, so staging environment is a kind of an environment. So there are multiple environments like
Yes.
development, QA, and after QA, staging environment is coming. Then user acceptance test environment, UAT environment is coming, and finally the
Yes.
production environment. So okay, let's take an example of the normal test environment. Okay,
Okay.
in test
Mm.
environment, your login is not working on Monday. It
Mm.
was working on Friday. Now, what will you do? So when I say login, you are trying to log in into your supply chain management, right? So that's also one of the
Yeah.
feature, login feature, right? So it
Okay.
is not working on Monday. So what will you do?
If there is a if we consider as a manual testing part, so first
Mhm.
we will try with the manually that application that user is able to log in the application or not.
Correct.
If that is working, then if there is an issue with the script,
Mm,
then we will see if there is any that page is not visible. We
mm,
can also add in the script as a wait, so that after loading the previous execution, whatever the things are there,
mhm,
so at that time we will navigate to that button or something.
mhm,
If apart from that it is also not working, that then definitely it is an defect, we have to raise that one.
So you will raise a defect.
Yeah, if I will try manually if it is working, and if in
So,
automation yeah.
so ignore automation for now. Let's say
Mhm.
manually you tried, you entered your valid username, you entered a valid password, you clicked on login button, still it is not working. Then what will you do?
uh, Manually, so definitely it is an uh, we can also check that if the link is up to date or the environment is correct or not.
Mhm.
We can also take this point. If every criteria is in the sync, then that may be a defect.
Okay, so you will raise a defect.
Yeah, Yeah, after means acknowledging to the lead of the team.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. What else will you do?
Mm.
So see, it might would have happened that someone would have deleted your user from the application itself. So you can try with other user trying to log in, right? It might happen that your user does not exist, so it won't allow you to log in. You can test with other test data. So it is very important before creating a defect, before creating an issue, you have to check with multiple test data. And then only you have to conclude whether it's a defect or it's a behavior or it's a normal issue, right? Normal error, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah, we
you
can
you
also.
can request your colleague, any of your colleague, whether he is there as a QA or senior QA, that whether they are able to log in. You can confirm with them. If they are able to log in, only it's your user issue, then you can check in the user management if your user is actually there or not, right?
Yeah,
Because
we can
once you
also
will
do.
create a defect, then it will just create a chaos because login is not working.
Yeah.
Everyone will be shocked on the floor.
But sir, I think if we try it manually, so that will automatically consider that we will log in the different user and with the different schemas as well.
Okay,
Maybe
okay.
there
So
is
you
an
will
issue with
try.
this.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
will try with
obviously that
different.
will, yeah, that will automatically consider in the manual execution. So that's why
Great,
I
great.
didn't tell.
Okay, okay, great, great. Okay, now uh let's take a scenario for Flipkart website. Okay, you have to test the search functionality on the Flipkart website.
Okay.
So your QA lead has dropped an email to you that Smriti, you have to test the Flipkart website and that too the search functionality of the Flipkart website. So
Okay.
how will you estimate that how much time do you need for testing that particular functionality?
The time consideration will be first, definitely I will go to the Flipkart site.
Mm,
Then obviously trying with the manual means whatever the usual time I will take means with the all the positive taking the all positive and negative testing.
mm,
So on basis of that I will estimate the time.
mm. So yeah, so can you elaborate how much time do you need or how many days do you need to complete end-to-end testing
Uh, for the search,
for search functionality only for now?
so I think 4 hours will be more than enough because uh, if the tester knows that what is means exactly the positive and negative testing,
Mm,
so
mm,
definitely under these two testing we will consider all this means what can be the cases.
mm,
In positive testing we will consider all the valid in means
mm,
valid search criteria like it is accepting numerals or letters a special character,
mm,
so
mm,
that will automatically consider in positive testing. In negative, like it is taking decibel or something else, hyphen or all these things. So that will be in negative testing. So depends upon that, we'll estimate the time. So I think 4 hours will be more than sufficient.
And what about test case design? You will have to write first test cases, right?
Yes.
So that also time you have to consider in this only.
Okay.
Mm.
Test case. So if I consider myself, so I can create one within a 1.5 hours. I will create the test case.
You sure?
Yeah, sir, because I'm doing the same in my project.
Mhm. Okay. See, whenever someone asks you in a real-time interview how to give test estimation, right? So you have to take care of all the things. So in the software testing life cycle, first of all, you will go through the requirement. Even though I
Yeah.
mentioned it's a search functionality of Flipkart website, yes, you are aware you would be purchasing all these things online, but still you will have to go through the requirement. You will have to analyze the requirements. You will have to see what are the requirements mentioned by the product owner, right? You will do static testing first, right? So go through
Yeah.
the
Okay.
requirements. That might take 1 or 2 hours itself, right? Going through the
Yeah.
requirements, each and every acceptance criteria, it's gonna take time. Then design the test cases. In designing test cases, again, you will have to write both happy path, positive, as well as negative test cases. Then comes non-functional test cases also, like performance
Yes.
test cases. How much
Mhm.
time would it take to load the search options after you have entered something? Then uh, if so many products are there, then how much time does it take? Then concurrent testing. Then
Yes.
testing techniques you will have to use, right? Boundary value
Yes.
analysis,
Yes.
equivalence partitioning. Some at some places you might have to use state transition diagram, right?
Yes.
So these are
Yes.
the various things that you have to consider. So I think almost 1 or 2 days will go in this itself, right?
Okay.
Then comes the real execution. Now again, in real execution, sometimes it might happen that you get the build, but the smoke testing itself is failing because some other XYZ feature getting impacted, right? So
Yeah.
the intent here is you have to take the buffer also,
Okay.
plus or minus. Don't, so in a real-time interview also, and in actual project also, when you get, this job, the real-time QA job, it's good already you are doing, but in your company also, in other
Yeah.
company also, always take the buffer time with you. What if internet is not working? You're working from office, internet is not working, and the mobile data hotspot does not support that particular website, right? What if
Yeah.
you require some VPN connection for that website and that VPN is not, like, working? Some Cisco connection is required, Cisco is not working.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
some buffer during testing. Otherwise, what would happen? You will have to rush up executing test cases, right? Because you have already committed, yes, 4 hours, 4 hours. So that pressure would be coming on your mind. Yes, I have to complete this thing in 4 hours. No, I have to complete. You won't eat your lunch also at times
Yeah.
because you want to complete your
Hmm.
testing. And you have already made a commitment over there in the Jira ticket or in the tool, you would have mentioned, yes, 4 hours from QA side, right? So always take buffer. And then test case design also takes time, requirement analysis also, test case execution also takes time. Sometime it might happen that you might would have written 30 to 40 test cases, 20 test cases you completed. On next particular day, again the build is down, right?
Okay.
So you have to
Hmm.
explain these kind of things. So you are doing internship. So you have to explain, okay, these all things actually are happening with you. This is a real time thing. QA is not responsible, or developer or anyone is not responsible for making the website down, right? But
Yes.
it does happens, right? In the life of the QA, these all things do
Hmm.
happen, right?
Yes, it is.
So give such kind of answers practically. So automatically your chances of getting selected will also improve, will increase. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. So this was about, okay. Now tell me the high level test scenarios. Which are the high level test scenarios? What will you test in the Flipkart website for that search functionality only? Yeah.
Mm. Uh, Suppose there is means lot of menus are there, like for the women section, men section, there is electronic section. So suppose in electronic section we are I'm searching for the mobile phone.
Mm,
So if I enter the apple apple any set of apple, so first I will see that that apple mobile set is in the electronic domain or not.
mm,
Like that we can see the things. And
mm.
also
Yes, yes. So that's a good thing that you will see the category is proper of that particular product, any XYZ product you select.
yeah.
What else will you test? So many test scenarios are there, right?
Suppose I'm giving any name
Mm,
what I want to purchase.
mm,
So if that is any means not means not valid, or like
Okay.
I'm giving a wrong spelling of that one. So if that is come means if we search that particular item, so that is coming or not.
Hmm.
If that is not valid, then it should throw an error. That is some, it should throw an error also.
Okay. Okay. What else?
And
You can take your time to think, right? This is a mock interview. You can take your time. In a real time interview also, if you want some time to think, you can tell the interviewer, see, I want to think, give me 1 or 2 minutes. You can brainstorm. You can think from all the 360-degree, what all things you will test. How will you break that functionality? How will you make sure that whether it is working as per the expected behavior, as per the requirement or not? So take your time to think.
sorry, sir. As of now,
That's it. Okay,
yeah.
no worries. See, this is a mock interview, even if you
Yeah.
don't know the answer of the question, so that is totally fine. But this kind of question can be asked to you in a real-time interview. Okay, so now you have to test the search box. Are you able to imagine the search functionality, the search feature in the Flipkart
Yes.
website, right? How it
Yes.
is? Okay, then great. Then, so what will happen? So first of all, you will verify that the search box is present on the page and is visible to
Mm.
the user, right? If it is not visible, where you will enter the text, right? So that is the first and the foremost thing. The UI UX you can test. You
Mhm.
can test the search box accepts input from the user. You can test the search results are relevant to the search query. You can test the search results are displayed correctly on the page. The search results are sorted correctly, right? And the search result does not display anything if no results are found. So some user-friendly message should come. No results are found, right? Then you can verify the search functionality works correctly when multiple search terms are used, right? For example, you enter two products, then what happens, right? You can test when you don't enter anything, you just enter white space and click on search button. You enter special characters and then you click on the search button, then you see what happens, right?
Yeah.
So you can verify when you enter a valid product and you get the correct results. When you enter invalid product, so that was covered, that test scenario by you, invalid product, then you won't see any results, right? Then you will check the uh, yeah, white space is done. Okay, then what happens is, for example, you have to enter some product name, but you entered with a spelling mistake. Then is it showing
Yeah.
some corrective suggestions, or is it
Yeah.
showing some products related to the corrections, right? You can
Yeah.
test the search functionality by searching for a product with space in between, by searching for a product with uppercase letters, by searching for a
Yeah.
product with lowercase letters, by searching a product with mix of uppercase and lowercase letters, right? Then
Yeah.
alphanumeric characters, alphabetic characters, only numeric things. Then what happens, right? So these are the function. These are the various test scenarios that you will perform search on, right? Then
Sure.
comes the performance test case that you will try to verify something, and the response is received in that particular seconds or not. For example, 5 seconds if it
Mm.
is depending on the requirement, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. So are you getting the search results displayed on that particular page in that 5 seconds, 10 seconds?
Yes.
What happens when you also enter the search and other 10 users also enter the same thing on the search? Is it
Yes.
impacting the performance? This is an example of concurrent testing also. Together, you are searching same product on 10 different machines. Together, you search for a different product on 10 different machines. Together, you search for same product on 5 machines, 5 mobile devices, 10 mobile devices, 5 Android, 5 iOS, all Android, all iOS. Like
Mhm.
this, you have to explain. The more you will explain, the more chances of your interview will uh, getting selected will increase, right? Because
Yes.
see,
Yes.
in an interview, what the interviewer wants, how much you are able to think, to what extent, to what limit you are able to think, what kind of analytical skills you have got, right? So this is how
Yes.
you have to tell. And the moment you will answer no, so automatically your confidence level will start increasing, right?
Yes.
You will be able to see, you will be able to know the interviewer is able to Are you answering in the right direction which the interviewer is looking for, right? And
Yes.
these kind of questions do come to you, right? It will come to your level of experience, right? So be prepared for those things. Okay. Now, what is the difference between SVN and Git?
SVN and Git.
Don't get tensed at all, right? This is a mock interview. Please have a glass of water if you want.
So, sir, about Git, it is a version control system.
Hmm.
So,
Yes, yes.
in Git, means the main concept of Git is at the same time the developer, the tester, the product manager simultaneously can use that thing,
Hmm.
the
Version
whatever we
control
say
tool.
version. Yeah. So suppose there is any requirement from the client side. Suppose at one time there is a requirement, but after some time or something, client has given an option that can we add the uh, b functionality also in that one.
Hmm.
So developer definitely will consider adding that B version of that one and add into code according to that one. And like that, the client's requirement get changed. But suppose at the end, the client is not satisfied what he said and he wants to go back to the first one.
Hmm.
So how will developer will go to that first version of that code?
Right.
So
So
for
this
that,
is, yeah, yeah. So this is how version control tool will behave, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Now these both are version control tools, Git as well as
yes,
SVN.
yes, SVN.
Now, what is the difference between two?
Sir, frankly, I don't know about the SVN. I work on Git and
Your
I
work
know the
on
Git.
Git. Okay,
Yes.
great, great.
So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
so
you can,
in
yeah, please go ahead.
what actually we do in Git, like suppose I have scripted something,
Mm,
and that is in my local repository.
mm.
Yeah, and if I want to push my codes into the uh, developer environment, so how will what is the medium of doing that one? So for that, we will use the Git.
Perfect. And you can also collaborate
Yeah, we
with,
can also call collaborate between tester and developer.
that's it. Anything else?
Uh, yes, so there is also means Kit is very flexible, speed is very high. It is also very secure to use, and it is very easy to means stash the data, delete the data, add the data in the staging and unstaging area. So these are the benefits of using Git.
Okay,
We can swiftly switch into the branches
right,
in which
right.
branch we can we want to work.
Mm, okay.
Mm.
See, the difference, both are version control tools, Git as well as SVN.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is the difference between them is Git is a distributed version control system. Okay. In SVN is a centralized version control system. So when I say centralized means when you are working with VCS,
Yeah, yeah, this thing I know, sir. Centralized and distributed. In centralized, there is one central repository, and all the local repository will do push and pull the thing.
right, right,
But in the distributed, there is distributed version of that means there will be several local repository. In between, there will be transaction of like pull and push. So there
right.
will be transaction of codes. So I don't know about that. SVN will fall into the centralized
Yeah,
version
yeah,
of
no
that.
worries. See, the central repository has a trunk. Okay, when I say
Yes,
trunk, so it contains the current stable version of the project. Okay,
yes,
so when you are working on the new feature, so you can make branches from that trunk itself, right? Each
yes,
branch is stored in a subfolder on the central repository. Okay,
yes,
so whenever your changes are ready, the branch will be merged into the trunk. right? While Git is a distributed version control system. So you have already worked on that, right?
Yes.
So you will create a local repository and then you will clone that
Yes.
central repository.
Yes.
Okay, so with a local clone of the central repository, each person would be able to work on the project completely offline on their own computer. Right.
Yes.
So this is how it happens. Difference between Git and SVN.
Okay.
Okay. Now, let's say you get some defect. Okay. So can you tell me what are the different stages in the defect life cycle?
Uh, okay.
You have created
So
a defect. Yeah. 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 Please go ahead. Mm.
that stages of a defect.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you create a defect, so the first stage will be new, right?
Yes.
Then
Okay.
which are the
Like that.
other
Yeah.
stages? Yeah.
So first, if we found any new issue, so that will be in stage new, and after it will be in assignee. That means that bug has been assigned to some developer. After that, it will be in a state of open.
Mm,
So that means the issue is not been resolved yet. After that, the developer will work on that defect, so it will be converted into fixed.
mm,
So from the developer's ends, the issue has been fixed. But tester has the responsibility that
mm,
issue has been fixed or not. So at that time, the role of tester will happen. So tester will test that issue.
mm,
So if that issue has been resolved, that means we can say it is retest. If the issue has been resolved, that it will be go to the verified,
mm.
and yeah, everything is okay, then it will be closed. If not, the issue has not been fixed, then from retesting to it will go it will navigate to reopen, then again open, then all the previous cycle will restart, and this cycle will means go.
Okay, great. Now, what is the difference between localization and globalization testing?
Okay, so suppose if there is any application and it is reason based, like if it is accepting Kannada language, so for that we will for testing that application we will use the localization testing. But
Mm,
what if that application is globally used, so we will test the multiple language.
mm.
So at that time, the that application testing will fall under globalization testing.
Right, right. And what all things you will test in the globalization testing as a part of globalization testing?
So like one standard form of something. If if we will talk about the language, so all the registered language will check
Mm,
that with the inputs of that particular language, the user is able to use that particular application.
mm.
So that will be an
So,
example of.
so the validation messages, pop-up messages, you can say the currency conversion, if any
Yes.
currency related is there. So those things you can check. So pop-ups and all those error messages also, right? So
Yes.
those things you can check, right? What do you know about XPath?
XPath, sir, I means not very much, means not I'm into thorough knowledge of that one, but I
Okay,
know little bit
okay.
about that. So XPath is basically a locator of any element in the web application.
Hmm,
So if we do the scripting, the base will be the XPath,
hmm,
means from where to where the script will navigate.
hmm.
So what will be the element will be clicked after one. So
Right.
for that we will use the XPath. So there is two means method of writing the XPath:
Hmm.
absolute and relative.
Relative expert.
So so absolute is like very tedious and not robust,
Hmm,
and it is start with the single forward slash. But with the relative, we can also call it as a double forward slash XPath. So definitely it is by default it will use start with the double slash forward slash.
Hmm.
And there is also lots of function has been used in double forward slash, means in relative. So that is very robust kind of XPath, so that if there is in between some changes in the codes, so there is very less chances of that XPath will break in the rerun of that particular script.
Right, right. Okay. Okay, Smriti, I'm done with the interview. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, sir, I have. Actually, sir, means surely I'm working means if I divide the manual and automation testing for me, it is 60 to 40. 60 is manual and 40 is automation. But I wanted to into the automation testing. So means
So,
how I work on that one.
okay, so you want to ask query related to your career.
Yes.